Well, most people know me as V Power Coach. Fellow coaches and consultants transform their pain into purpose, into profits. So this is what I call the gold dust effect. Life tribulations are part of what structure our purpose in life. The mastermind, the collective consciousness on LinkedIn is business driven, aligned with your business or you wanting to create a financial, freedom or financial stability.
I think it's evolved from more of a job finding CV platform to more of a business networking platform. Business is personal. I mean, it's not B2B when you're selling to other businesses, it's people to people. Hey everyone, welcome to the Sound of Crowd podcast. I go by the name of Adrian Daniels. If this is your first time listening, this is the show where we speak of top Ghanaian founders, entrepreneurs and creatives worldwide with the aim of leaving you behind with meaningful takeaways that you can apply to your life, business and career. For today's show notes, I would like you to head over to thesoundofacrowd.com/Veronica. That's thesoundofacrowd.com/Veronica for all of today's tips, links, nuggets and references. If you're on YouTube or you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, 5-star reviews very much appreciated. Hit the like button whilst you're here. Leave a comment below and let us know what you think of today's episode. Okay, so that's the housekeeping out the way. We have Veronica, V-Power Coach, in the house.
Yay!
Hey.
V-Power!
Veronica, thank you for coming on the show. It's been a long time coming.
Yay!
Hey, what's that? What's the Ghanaian? You know the Ghanaian?
Of course, yeah. You click it like that.
Akwaba.
Welcome, thank you.
It's been a minute. I think, of course, we met on LinkedIn.
Yes, we did.
Not in that way, but we met on LinkedIn. And I've just been admiring your content. You've been very consistent. You've built, an audience, a platform on your LinkedIn profile, and you've done a fantastic job in terms of purpose-driven content. I really feel that's what your kind of niche is. Just helping to connect people, to purpose and using that to align their values and purpose to whatever it is that they dream to do in terms of creating a business or making money.
Yes.
Veronica, just for those that don't know you, could you just give everyone maybe like an elevator pitch about what you do? Of course.
Well, most people know me as V Power Coach. And what I do is I help fellow coaches and consultants transform their pain into purpose, into profits.
Yeah.
And we do this by designing signature online programs, signature online courses that are aimed at elevating and serving humanity. So I come from a teaching background as well as a mindset coach. Combining all those two together, I help elevate humanity by creating and designing signature online courses and programs. So this is what I call the gold dust effect, because the pain of our stories, the setbacks and the life tribulations are part of what structure our purpose in life. So I help people understand what that pain means and then package that into a signature program that now they can have a blueprint, a framework that now they can give back and help other people who are going through similar setbacks or similar challenges that they faced. And this is with well-being coaches, with leadership coaches, with career coaches, with sales consultants and coaches, anyone that wants to serve humanity and give back from their life story. I help them package that, in other words.
Yeah, fantastic. I think it's really incredible what you're doing. And I know there's a story behind, all of the pain. And I know there's a story behind, the business that you have right now. And I think we will probably touch upon that. I think you went through some of your own pain, didn't you? And that's what led you to pen and Rise Up Gold Dust, isn't it? And we'll definitely get into that for sure. Veronica, I know there's also a number of frameworks that you created on the back of your business. So in terms of the frameworks, you've got frameworks such as the V Impact, you've got Video Star Prospecting, Dream Alchemy, and then there's mistakes that you outline. So there's a number of frameworks and I would say specific courses that you've built on the back of everything that you've been through. And I think it's really hard to construct and build all of these resources and to help people without you yourself going through a certain thing, isn't it?
Yes.
But yeah, we're going to get into that. But recently, just let us know, what have you been up to recently?
Oh boy. Well, recently I was in the US recently because, as you know, as many people may know, I'm president also of Educational Communities Worldwide. That's an NGO that helps under-resourced students in Ghana. And we have our scholarship programs, we have our internship programs, and we have our teaching training programs. So our current project is the mobile school. We're building a mobile school. It's supposed to access rural areas in Ghana and give them the basic access to literacy, to maths, to IT. And so we went for a fundraising gala. So I was in New York a few months ago, which was amazing. First time ever. So that was really eye-opening to experience the US. I've never been. So I'm still buzzing from that experience. And also we have my side of the story where I'm creating a new project, a video star prospecting. I always look at it from the perspective of how do I inspire people to take action. So video star prospecting is how to inspire the sale using video. So that's been up. I've been in the studio recording the course as well. And I'm looking forward to Christmas. As you may know, my mom is Polish and she's lived in Ghana for 55 plus years.
Hey, global Ghanaian citizens. I hope you enjoyed this episode. It's just a very quick announcement. For today's episode offer, I'd like you to check the link in the description below. This is a special offer that we managed to secure in partnership with one of our guests or one of our partners. So please check the link in the description below for today's episode offer. You'll be able to take advantage of what we have in store for you today. I hope you enjoy the rest of the episode and I hope you enjoy the offer. Take care.
So I'm looking forward to seeing her and my sister in Poland. I'm spending the Christmas there with my kids. Beautiful. So
Beautiful.
That's what's been up.
Yeah, that's a unique mix, Polish and Ghanaian.
Yes, it is. But you'd be surprised because Poland and Ghana have very close ties when we look at the historic background. If you know our president, Kwame Nkrumah, he had a socialist approach in his time, and he had very good relations with the Soviet Union and Poland. If you know, there are a lot of Polish people that came to Ghana and helped build infrastructure, as well as the Russians. So, and lots of Ghanaians were sent on scholarship by the government to Poland. One of them being my father.
Wow.
He worked at Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, GBC.
Wow, GBC. And
he went for a students' exchange back then. The GBC sent him there, and that's how he met my mom. And the love story goes on. She ended up coming to Ghana, and she's been there since.
That's incredible. I mean, you hear so much about, I lived in Ghana for a bit, and, just hearing in school, learning about the Danes, the Dutch, the British, the Portuguese, colonizing the country and, coming over to the country. But, Polish, hearing about the Polish I think that's something special.
Absolutely. If you know, Poland doesn't have a history of colonizing other people. They've actually shared quite a similar history, with the Holocaust and with, the Nazis during those periods. Poland has a very shared sentiment when it comes to the suffering of its people and the liberation of its people. And I always say, my Polish side and my Ghanaian side have integrated because there's a lot of commonalities, even though there are differences. So that's a beautiful thing, to fuse those two cultures and embrace the beauties of both of them. Yeah. It gives me a wider perspective on life and people, on, cultural not preferences, but cultural elements that can be fused together to create something new. And that's what the gold dust is about. It's about fusing elements and creating and forging new pathways, fusing elements and creating new experiences. That's really the gold dust. Because if you know gold dust, why gold dust? It's because gold dust or gold is produced or created from the fiery explosions. It's created through fire. And the Gold Dust Queen, which is my book, Rise Up Gold Dust Queen, was because of the fiery explosions of life that I had to go through to be refined into gold. And so all our pain is now transformed into purpose. And now we can create a profit by giving back to the community, to our tribe, in a more structured framework to serve. So there's a whole, intention behind everything I do and how I approach business and life and how I make it personal, because business is personal for me. Maybe it's not a virtue that many people have, but business is personal because the more I grow, the more my business grows. So it's through me, my business grows. So it is personal, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's incredible. I mean, yeah, I can see the connection, gold dust, Gold Coast.
Yeah,
And the
yes, of
gold,
course.
you know, and I can see definitely like there's so many different, you know, ways to describe going through, you know, pressure. You know how they say, you know, pressure creates diamonds, and then, you know, how gold is refined, how they talk about that story about how gold is refined and how it actually creates gold. There's a lot of pressure that has to be created in order for gold to come out the way it is. And it's just amazing to see you come out from the other side of whatever you went through, and now you're kind of giving back to the audience, the community.
Yes.
And business is personal. I mean, it's not B2B. When you're selling to other businesses, it's people to people. Really and truly, I think that's what it is. It's B2B, and I think that's how people need to relate to business. Like trying to see it more personally than trying to see it more in a business sense. And I think that's how you really connect with people.
Absolutely.
Let's. You know what? We've talked a little bit about, you know, this personal experience that you've had. I don't want to give the book away. Could you, because I know you mentioned like going through the tough relationship, divorce, and all these type of things. Could you? I know you're quite personal on LinkedIn as well. Could you talk a little bit about the book, in terms of what people can expect, and then just to kind of like summarize kind of like your story a little bit.
Absolutely,
or
yeah.
Or what other parts you happen to share.
Absolutely, yes. I even brought a copy later on. I'll show you.
Oh, brilliant.
Yes.
Okay.
So there are 50 golden nuggets of wisdom in that book. These 50 golden nuggets of wisdom were not created just like that. It was a series of events and years I was journaling. When I had my relationship back then, my marriage came crumbling down after years, you know, over 17 years together. And it came crumbling down because of various reasons. I also remember we both set up a business back in Poland. There was a web development branding agency, just to give some context. And after we finally came spiraling down because of the wrong decisions and chasing the wrong things and understanding success from a whole different flawed perspective, we came crumbling down the business, and that impacted other areas of our lives, including our marriage. And I remember standing in front of what we call a pawnbroker's shop, selling some of my precious belongings because we didn't have any money to pay the rent that month. And it was in that moment that I knew that my life had to change, because I heard her. You know that little voice, sometimes that whisper that we hardly pay attention to. But in that moment, in that pawnbroker shop, I finally heard her. I say her as in my warrior spirit, Safoa, you know. And she's like, "What are you doing, Veronica? How did you get here? It's not overnight. This is like a period of time." It's like I finally woke up. I'm like, what am I doing here? How did I even get here? What kind of choices have I been making? Is this how I want to live my life? Are these the kind of choices you want to be making? Back then I didn't have any kids, but then it was like, how do you want to show up for your kids? What are your parents going to think about you? And in that moment I knew this is not my life. This could not be it. And I always say it was by some divine intervention, because Adrian, that week, I stumbled upon an audiobook by Neil Donald Walsh, Conversations with God. Nothing religious, but certainly spiritual. It was very transcending, very introspective. It answered questions, because it's a conversational book. It answered questions that I was seeking. Who are you, Veronica? When every single thing that you have once identified yourself with ceases to exist. Your business is down, it's gone, it's closed, it's bankrupt. You know, you're not a business owner anymore. Your status as a wife now is even in jeopardy. All these labels were I'm just losing everything. And it feels like you lose yourself in such a moment. I'm sure many people can relate, because you lose something in life. It could be a business, it could be a spouse, it could be a job.
I've been through it.
And you feel like you've lost a piece of yourself, because that is how you've identified yourself with for so long. So the question is, okay, so what's left of you, Veronica? And that, Adrian, embarked me on a journey of discovering who I was. And that book opened up a gateway to understanding that I am the creator of my own circumstances. And me in that pawnbroker shop was partially my responsibility. I didn't realize that the belief systems and the paradigms that I had, in my mind, the programming, the choices I made were all a series of results of this belief system that I had. And I created that rut I found myself in. And I discovered in that book, it opened up this whole gate when I even went further into reading more about it. I actually finally discovered who I was. And it changed the whole trajectory of my life. I realized that beneath all those labels that have been shed, that the fire had, burned, I was this pure vibrational energy. Because look at it this way, Adrian. When we look at the largest organ, the skin, we have the skin, okay? And the skin is made up of what? Cells, right? And then, a collective of cells. And if we look within the cells, right, you have the atoms, right? And within the atoms, the neutrons and the protons and all those elements, and that's just energy. So beneath it all, on this energy, okay, that's interesting. So if that's who I am beneath all those labels, then what is energy? Energy is creative. Energy is destructive. I'm like, okay, what am I going to create from now on? Knowing what I know, what can I create? And that's when I had to set a clear vision of my life, what I truly wanted, and then reverse engineer and say, what do I need to do today to get to where I want to be? And that's where the energy comes in. It's now where energy goes, creation flows. I think the saying is, where focus goes, energy flows, right? And I took it a step further. Okay, where energy goes, creation follows, because energy is creative. So whatever we're creating in our lives is a result of that energetic force that comes in the form of our actions, our thoughts, our feelings, and then how we, pursue our dreams, or how we pursue our aspirations, or what we do next in our lives, everything.
All levels of energy, aren't they?
So, and that book encapsulates those 50 golden nuggets of wisdom that enabled me to rebuild my life.
Wow. And
not only rebuild my life, but reignite my light, my spark. Because you lose your spark when you think you've lost yourself. You can even go into deep depression and sadness and sorrow. If you're not careful, you will be stuck and be trapped in that darkness, not knowing that you are the light in that darkness. So how do you reignite that light? And that's what the book really exposes. And it's Rise Up, Gold Dust Queen. And it can be found, of course, on Amazon. And it's my legacy of what I have experienced. And I want to share that and give back to the world. So that's it.
No, it sounds like a really powerful book. We'll make sure that the audience has, a link to get the book. So we'll make sure there's a link in the podcast description below. You can grab it from Amazon, and we'll put all of the ways where you can grab the book. Wow, I mean, this is a mind-blowing story you just shared. It really seems like life almost defeated you, but to the point where you've been able to rise up and say, no, I'm in control of this life. And it's kind of like you've kind of taken responsibility for what's happened in your life, and you've learned to unlock the keys to take back control of your own life and direct it in the way that you want it to go. And I think that's kind of led you to where you are now in terms of being V-Power coach.
And being in this place with you. It's a series of events that has led us to where we are today.
Certainly. And of course, being, one of the top LinkedIn voices out there, congrats on all of the success you've had from LinkedIn. And then I've seen your energy, the energy that you've been giving, on your LinkedIn platform, the dancing and stuff. But I always knew that comes from something. There's a story behind all of that. I always knew there was something, behind, all of the happiness and joy that you show when you put out those videos on LinkedIn. So Veronica, some of these nuggets that you talk about, right? Can some of these people use some of these nuggets to build a purpose-driven business, to build a business where they're able to make money, doing something that they love?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So the book, of course, is really those 50 golden nuggets, and it's about applying them on how to rebuild your life and how to reignite that spark so that you can have more clarity, more focus, and more direction in your life after a relationship breakup or even after a divorce or any adversity in life. But really, beyond that, what I help my clients with and what I also preach about is how to package your story into a signature.
Yeah. And you've got like a course, is it V Impact?
Yes, so that's the academy. So V Impact Course Creation Academy was what I run, and that's where I help coaches and consultants really package that story into a signature program, a signature course, a signature framework. Their story is a framework. Your story has a framework if only you can connect the dots. So the V is for vision. We can't go anywhere without a clear vision. We can't take off without a vision. So V is for vision. Then the I of the impact is identity. So many of us coaches and consultants have lost our identities. We've come maybe from a corporate background where we've had to put this facade. So entering this entrepreneurial world, we want to, give back and do something with our business and grow our coaching business. They struggle with an identity crisis. Meaning, who am I here to serve really? Who am I beyond all those labels, right? And that's been my story. So identifying who you are, that will then reveal who you're here to serve. So that's the I. And many people talk about finding your, what they call the profitable niche.
Yeah.
I'm disruptive like that. I'm like, it's not about the profitable niche. I get that concept and I get how it works, but it can mislead you into looking for external answers rather than within yourself. And it's not sustainable. What you should be focusing on is identifying the profitable you. Because that's where the I is. Once you know who you are, that's a profitable you. And that is what makes you premium, exclusive, wanted, magnetic. Once you get that. So that's the I.
So it's got to come from yourself. It's got to be based around your unique story, your unique personal brand.
And once you understand that, right? Because we have many stories, absolutely. But once you understand what is that signature story, and what is it that brought you to where you are today, and what is it that you had? What fire did you have to go through? So understanding all that and connecting the dots and understanding the I is really the foundation. And then we go to the M. So once you understand who you are, what you are here to do, right? Who you're here to serve, then the M is the manifestation of those dream clients. Because now you can articulate what you're here to do, what you're here to serve, right? And how you're going to serve it, more or less. You can now understand who your ideal client is or who your dream client is, because it's the problem that you're identifying that will expose who you want to help that problem solve. And that's the M, the manifestation of your dream clients. And we do that through, creating opt-in pages, to build a waiting list. And then we have the strategic business tools that we use to start, manifesting those dream clients. So that it's not about you going to them, they come to you because you're magnetic, right? So then that's the M. And then we go to the P. Yeah. Once we understand who our dream clients is and we've done our market research, we go into the P. Now we can package. Yeah. Now we can package the data and the story into a robust, comprehensive curriculum, a framework, a signature program, a signature course, a methodology. And that's where my teaching skills come in, because I'm a former teacher as well. Yeah. And so we package that. Now we got the product. So we go to the A of the impact. That is now assembling the offer. Because you can have a product, but you don't really have the offer. So we assemble the offer and we assemble all the elements that we need to create that irresistible offer we all hear about. Yeah, that will go on your sales page and everything. And then after the A, you know what comes next?
C, is it?
Yes, which is content that inspires the sale. So content marketing, as we will call it. So I help my clients create the content marketing strategies to prepare for their launching, for their launch. And there's a whole, there's a whole realm on content creation that I personally use. And then the last bit is the T. How do you now transform these prospects into value-paying clients? And that's where I call the enrollment conversation. Or I like to call it the enrollment alchemy, because you're transforming now a prospect into a paying client. And now they're coming to you because they see you, they hear you, they now are aware of what you're producing, what your product is, they see your offer, and now they're compelled and captivated by what it is, and they want to reach out to you. And when they reach out, what do you do next? How do you have that conversation so that now they're a paying client and now you can serve?
Brilliant.
So that's a V impact.
That's a beautiful acronym. I wonder how you came up with that.
It was I'm more about impact. So then that was how, my mind works. I find frameworks. I have this matrix. I put things together and I can see things and foresee things and just connect the dots. So yeah, that's another gold dust.
Well, you're a former teacher. And I think
that helps.
You studied, is it pedagogy?
Yes. Teaching methodologies, pedagogy, educational sciences.
That's it. Yes. I'm not, that actually probably makes a lot more sense how you came up with that.
Absolutely.
Amazing acronym. And of course, the course actually deep dives into everything that you shared. Absolutely.
It's a whole thing.
Amazing. And do you have any stories that, in terms of people that you've worked with or businesses you worked with that have gone through your training?
Absolutely.
Got really great success.
Yes.
Any you mind sharing? Or?
Yeah. So absolutely. So I recently worked with one sales consultant, and he is specializing in SMEs that have medical devices, that are exporting medical devices, and we created the Healthcare Export Accelerator. So he helps these medical device SMEs export and become healthcare leaders internationally. So he helps them break through 5 to 10 international markets within 12 months. And he has a whole framework that he uses, right? Another client, she is a well-being coach for event professionals, helping them go from, the chaos to the calm, right? Of being that event planner. So she's a well-being coach. Another career coach, she's a nurse career coach for new graduates, right? I helped her create her program for new graduate nurses to land their dream jobs. And this is not just a woo-woo dream job. She's actually gotten the results from helping new graduate nurses land that dream specialty, land that dream job. But it was because of her story, right? Because she was that new graduate who was told you can't and you won't be able to and you will never amount to, right? And that story was what really ignited that fire for now to help her others, new graduate, not give up on their dreams of serving, in the healthcare. So, health coaches, sales coaches, well-being coaches, leadership coaches. Yeah, and the list goes on.
Amazing. So I think it really is a set science that you've created for anyone from any industry that can pretty much go through it and get results.
Yes, but my specialty are those that truly want to serve humanity.
Okay, so that's really...
Oh, that's where I'm inspired. I have to be inspired. I don't just take any of the clients. It has to be somebody that is genuinely interested and invested in serving humanity, in giving back in a way that is meaningful, and they have to walk the talk. So they have to have a story that now they want to, I have a calling, Veronica. Yeah. I have a desire, a calling I can no longer ignore. And I'm not quite sure where to start. I'm not quite sure how to put that together. I'm not quite sure how to structure it. I'm not quite sure, how to show up in this online world and really become that specialist in that field. So, they have a desire, a burning desire.
Yeah. And I think also, it's clear that you also, you serve humanity and you really connect with the projects that you're involved in, like the ones that you're doing in Ghana, which we'll probably talk about, shortly. And have you noticed a specific trend? Have you noticed in terms of what you went through, in terms of your pain and then, you launching this business, like the steps that you went through to where you are now? When you've taken people through your training, have you noticed like a common theme or common pattern in almost every single person that you've worked with that you resonate with?
So it depends on what area, but I can say for sure with everybody that I've worked with, there is a calling, like I mentioned. They are attracted to me because they want to serve and create a meaningful impact in the world. And that's what I speak about. So I attract people that are not necessarily driven primarily by money. It's important. Money is a tool, and we all have businesses, and we need to, of course, sustain ourselves, but not only, but thrive in doing so. So money is absolutely a no-brainer in all of this, but they are driven by something greater than that. And so that's definitely a common theme. They generally want to make a difference. And that's what I've noticed in all of my clients. And that's why not everyone is attracted to my kind of energy, because some people are more just, they just want to create something quick and just, put something together so that it can sell. And hey, why not?
Yeah.
But I'm not inspired by that. I'm inspired by people that have a story and now they want to serve humanity through their stories, and they're passionate. So that's another thing. They are passionate people. But not only passionate, because passion is a byproduct of purpose. So they're purposeful people. So yes, they have a burning desire. They're purpose driven, and as a result, passionate, and are willing to go through all the stages of the business, because it's a long term thing. You can't just give up at the first sign of a block or a challenge. It took me, when I started LinkedIn, about 6 months before I even got my first paying clients. Right? This is 2016, 2017 when I started officially on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
It takes time. It takes consistency. So you have to be committed.
Yeah, it does.
So it's not only passion, it's purpose, and it's also a commitment, and there's also discipline to show up and regardless. So there are many elements that, traits that my clients have and share.
Brilliant. I mean, I can totally relate. It's being patient, being consistent, at least with this podcast, for example, and then having the passion that's going to carry over to months and years later, and you're still doing it.
Yeah.
And then knowing what your purpose and the mission is for doing what you're doing.
Yes.
I think is really important.
I think even before passion has to come purpose. I'm passionate about dancing.
Yeah.
Okay. I love dancing. So yes.
Check out LinkedIn, guys. Full of dancing. Like she's turned LinkedIn to TikTok. I love it. Before TikTok existed, she was basically TikTok.
But you see, it's very important to clarify. It's dancing with purpose.
Yeah.
In Ghana, we have what we call the talking drums.
Yeah.
In our culture, when we're doing the Adowa dance and things like that, it's telling a story. We are conveying. Even the Azonto tells a story. Or boxing or whatever it is. It's conveying something.
It's true.
So my dancing is not just to dance for the sake of dancing. I'm very strategic about that, and it's with purpose. So there's always a message that comes with the dance, because that's just integrating my culture into how I show up. That's what makes me unique, and that makes me one of a kind, and that makes me irreplaceable, and that makes me somebody that nobody can copy, because it's just me.
Yeah.
So it's dance with purpose. It's not just TikTok.
I'm just.
No, I know.
What is it about LinkedIn that I think LinkedIn is probably one of your key funnels, or
it is.
key avatars for attracting your clients? What is it, do you think, about LinkedIn that people should pay attention to, that helps them to get these types of clients, or these types of helps them to create these types of businesses?
It's the mastermind that reigns in LinkedIn compared to Instagram and Facebook. The mastermind, the collective consciousness on LinkedIn is business driven.
Yeah.
So people go there to do business or find business or create connections for business purposes.
Yeah.
Facebook is, that's not the orientation of the collective consciousness. Instagram is more about visuals, of course, and the difference with Instagram and LinkedIn is it's more for pleasure, and maybe not everyone is business oriented there. So the mastermind, the collective mastermind, is not business oriented to that degree, or maybe it is, but with another area, it's more visual oriented.
Yeah.
So for me, I've noticed that in LinkedIn, the collective consciousness, when I say the collective consciousness, it means that the billions or the millions of people that make up LinkedIn are all business oriented. So if you're entering LinkedIn, it's for, it's easier to attract clients because they're either looking for opportunities, you're either looking for a solution or looking for an expert or a specialist in whatever field. So the collective consciousness is very, it is important to leverage because people are there for a reason that is aligned with your business or you wanting to create a financial, freedom or financial stability.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, that is the main thing that I've noticed. The collective consciousness on LinkedIn is business oriented.
That makes total sense. It really does. I think it's evolved from more of a job finding CV platform to more of a business networking platform.
Oh,
I
yes.
think it's allowed people such as yourself to really thrive and really exploit, you know, what it is that you have to offer to the world.
Yes.
Yeah. And just want to go back onto, I know you got one of these courses based around video star prospecting, right? I know you put out a lot of video on LinkedIn, which we've discussed and we just joked about. Video is really getting popular on social media platforms, whether it's, you know, just general content creation, entertainment, or whether it's especially using it to attract clients or generate leads, etc. What tips would you give for people that want to use video to, you know, as a method of content creation to generate leads or to generate that dream client, as you talk about in one of your programs?
So video star prospecting, right, is a branch out from the V Impact Course Creation Academy, and it's still in the production stages. So there's a waiting list you can join.
Fantastic.
But the video star prospecting, as you can see, it's a prospecting process that requires a video outlet, and it's aimed at inspiring the sale. So with video, I could talk about, yes, you need lighting, you need this camera, or you need this equipment, or you need sounding, whatever it is. These are great. But the video is just the byproduct. You have to really understand yourself. So the program, Video Star Prospecting, is actually more of an online course. Goes through the stages of understanding, you know, what your statement of value is, identifying that, right? So that when you're on a video, you can articulate yourself. Because you have all the great equipment, but if you can articulate yourself clearly, then what are we doing?
It's true.
So establishing that. And also in the Video Star Prospecting, I focus also on really the psychology behind getting on video, but also the psychology in creating video messages.
Yeah.
So that requires that you understand how you say it, what you say, and why you say it. And that is going to inspire the viewer to book that discovery call or claim that session or take action upon whatever the call to action is. So with Video Star Prospecting, it's a series of steps that you need to take in order to not only get booked, but also get booked with value-paying premium clients. So we have the video with one to many. That's we, and then the masses are watching.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one to many. But the Video Star Prospecting, as you can see, the name itself, you're having a prospecting pathway to having a one-to-one or one-to-few. And there are strategies that I have personally used that have worked wonders in getting contracts and being able to, you know, grow my business, because I'm very strategic and very intentional about who I send a video message to.
Yeah.
How I send it and why I send it and what it's going to contain, so that the person that receives this video is going to say, wow, I want to get that call. I want to meet this person. And so the whole aim of the Video Star Prospecting is to use video to get your discovery calls booked, to get those strategic meetings that will then enable you to have the opportunity to get those contracts and get those deals, because the noise is deafening.
Oh my gosh, I was literally about to say that there's so much noise on social media, there's so much content creation out there, and I think video is one of the few formats where people can, you know, stand out and, you know, tell a story or do what it is that they need to do in a unique way that nobody else can.
Absolutely, yeah.
And just cut through the noise.
That's it. That's
For example, with LinkedIn, there's so many messages, there's so much posts going out there, but if you're sending videos to someone one-on-one,
it's like, who does that nowadays? Not
people are lazy. They just want to spam and send that message.
That's it. So with Video Star Prospecting, mastering the art of inspiring the sale, it's really how to cut through the noise and how to get booked with premium clients that are already inspired to some degree to start working with you. So when they get on the call with you, they're like 80% sold.
Yeah.
And now it's just about, you know, understanding more about what you offer and more understanding, you know, how you can build that relationship. So it's all about using video and how to inspire the sale.
Brilliant. Yeah. Wow. We'll make sure all of those links for the courses will be in the description below. Vanessa and Veronica, although I said Vanessa, please forgive me. Veronica, I've really enjoyed this conversation. We mentioned serving humanity. Could you tell us more about the projects that you've been doing in Ghana, the water, the WOW projects, some of the projects you got in terms of working with schools, teaching schools, building schools. Can you just tell us a bit more about those projects?
So first of all, what does serving humanity means? It's quite a bold statement to serve humanity, but it's something that I've adopted because it inspires me. It keeps me grounded. It reminds me why I do what I do. So the business is the business. V Impact Course Creation Academy, V Power Coaching, Video Star Prospecting, and the mindset coaching, and that whole thing is a vehicle. And what that vehicle enabled me to do is it equipped me with the freedom to now do what I'm passionate about, giving back to the community. I'd always had a dream of opening a leadership academy in Ghana, a youth leadership academy in Ghana. And I'd shared that vision some years ago. And I had visited Ghana many times. I visited 2 years ago. I was there 3 times. Last year I was there 2 times. Next year we're going again. And I remember being reached out by the founder of Educational Communities Worldwide some years ago. And I was like, wow, this truly is a manifestation process, because I'd always wanted to give back to Ghana. And here I am having an organization that already is established to join. So I became first board member before I became president. And within that period of time, we went to Ghana to do some donations. And I remember going to one of our scholars, or one of the schools or the organizations that we were helping, and it was an orphanage, Graceland Shelter Orphanage in Adumfie. And we went to do some donations, some computers, we had some computers there and some programs to help the children with literacy and IT skills and other things. Then I noticed, as I was talking to the pastor who was running that orphanage and his wife, I think the children are really struggling because they don't really have access to water. So all these things are great, but at the end of the day, they come to school tired and just lack the focus to even engage. Because as you know, in the mornings they have to go and fetch water and everything. But they had this 10,000 gallon poly tank. And I goes, what about this? Like, they can't fill it up because it costs X and Y. We can get that money to fill that up. I can get that. Maybe it was about £200 to fill that up. Yeah. For a period of time. So when I went back to the UK, I set up a campaign on my LinkedIn. And I showcased the story. I
think I saw one of those campaigns.
Yeah. I say, this is the story, EduCom. We're raising funds to, help them with the water issue. Within about 24 hours, we raised about over £2,000.
It's incredible.
And we were able now to not only fill up that poly tank, but also build a borehole for them.
Amazing.
So we commissioned that borehole. A few months later, we went back to Ghana to commission that borehole, and it was just so, my heart was so happy. I was like, if I die today, I'm happy.
How does that make you feel?
And what they surprised me with, they put was a plaque on the borehole. Special thanks to Veronica Safoa Owusu. So somewhere in a village in Adumfie, my name is there from EduCom, and EduCom's team. That just presence, that's a legacy, that is an impact. That water will now enable the children not only to focus on their studies, but the surrounding communities can also benefit from that. So these projects, such as the Adumfie Graceland Shelter, is just a sneak preview of the work that we're doing. But also, when we went to the Bronga Health region, there was another issue that we went to do some donations. I'm always looking, what is the problem? How can we help instantly? I want to, what is it? So we went to do some of the donations, and I realized that the teachers, because I'm a teacher, we started interviewing the teachers a bit, and we noticed there was a gap in the teacher trainings that they have access to. In the rural areas, they will, hire teachers that may not have gone to a teaching academy or teaching school necessarily. Maybe they have some quick start course that they've done, or some interventions that they've gone through to become the teacher, but there's some skills that they may not be very well equipped with. So I'm like, hey, let's do a teacher training for these people. Let's do a teacher training for not only this school, but for the neighboring schools. So we organized that and we raised funds for that project. And I delivered a teacher training for that school, plus some other schools that the teachers came from, neighboring villages. And we did a half-day training on critical thinking, how to equip children with critical thinking. So methodologies and teaching methodologies on equipping children with critical thinking skills. So that was the project. So, and now we're working on our next project, which is a mobile school. A mobile school where literally we have even the prototype, not the prototype, but the mock-up designed for us, where it's literally a bus designed to have or accommodate children who want to, enhance their reading skills or access the IT world and learn a little bit about how to, code or how to use a laptop or a computer, these basic things. So that will be the next project that we're still raising funds for. But we are still going to launch the pilot program. If we don't have the mobile bus yet, we can use the community centers at least to start those after school clubs. So, these are the things that really also light me up and I'm like, I could travel the world and just be building boreholes if it came to that, or just doing things that would elevate communities and equip them with skills, strategies, and resources to give them at least a chance.
It must make you feel absolutely amazing that the journey that you've been through has brought you to this point where you're able to make impact on so many people's lives, especially in our homeland Ghana, where we're here in the West, we take these essentials for granted, where they may not have access to some of these things.
Yeah.
Veronica, you're a force of nature. You're serving humanity in a fantastic way, and you're certainly full of goldness. Thank you for coming on the show. Is there any final words you want to give to the audience, and where can everyone find you and connect with you, and of course, sign up to your courses and training?
Sure. So, my virtual office is on LinkedIn. So please, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, Veronica Safoa Owusu, that's for sure. One thing I want to leave your audience with is whatever tribulations you're facing today, whatever pain you're experiencing, whatever loss you've had, you may be feeling lost, you may be feeling stuck, you may be feeling that you're trapped in this darkness. Remember that there is a purpose in that pain. And when you understand that, to some degree, you're uplifted. That purpose, that pain is the gold dust. The stories, the adversities, the tribulations, that's the gold dust. There's purpose in that. So remember that your pain has purpose that will potentially, or can potentially, give you the profits with time. So yeah, unleash that gold dust is my message, and recognize that you're gold dust and you have that substance to shine bright and make a difference in the world as well.
That's beautiful. Couldn't have said it any better. Great. So we'll have all the links, guys, in the podcast description below, YouTube description below, and on the show notes. You can head over to thesoundofacrowd.com/Veronica for all of the tips, references, nuggets, and references from today's episodes. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave us a comment on your way out, and give us a 5-star review if you're still listening. Veronica, thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
And that's it for today's episode, guys. I will catch you on the next episode. Take care.